Hello everyone, welcome back. It's Buildin' Big with City Skylines, episode 64. I'm Enigmius, and today we're looking at a new asset. It's a new traffic circle asset. I really quite like it. It's got kind of a clean look to it. It's very, very simple in terms of what it does and how it does it. But I was doing a little bit of messing around with our city and realized that we were starting to encounter those mid to larger city traffic woes, namely traffic lined up for miles at certain intersections, and it became time to start thinking about putting in some traffic circles. I wanted something that was kind of minimalist and clean and kind of nifty looking without being so complicated or so large that it just kind of dominated the entire city. This is a little bit on the large side as traffic circles go, but a lot of what happens underground, so that's kind of one of the things that I like about it. Now if you look, well, for starters, we have the outer ring. You can have as many connections as you can fit on the outer ring for traffic coming into the traffic circle, and then you have exits to get into the smaller ring, the inner ring, and then we have 4 exits to underground shenanigans. And if we switch to road of some kind, you can see the inner ring, the underground connections go north and south, and then the outer ring, they go east and west. Really straightforward. There's nothing particularly crazy about it, but it gives you the opportunity to kind of funnel the traffic in from the surface, have it diverge in all the different directions, and then connect it up how you like by running it underground and have this really clean, slick kind of appearance, as opposed to some of our other traffic circles that were really ostentatious. They're like big on the surface, trying to be interesting to look at. Decided to go the other way with this one. Now we could talk about it more from this view, but I think it would be even more interesting if we took a look at it actually in the city. So let's go do that now. Now it's daytime here in our happy, vibrant world where we've got our new traffic circle in place and all connected up. It's really difficult to see where things are connected because it's all underground, but if we select a road and then we go underground, you can get a better idea. We have this underground road that goes from here all the way down to the highway, and I put this in place because there's no intersections with this specific road. It's just a straight shot from the highway up to this part of the city. It's not nearly as well traveled now as it used to be when there were so many intersections on the above ground adjacent kind of road. This guy here. This used to be backed up from up here, where it kind of ran into its first major intersection, all the way down to about here, constantly. And you can see, I mean, it's a highway connection. It's going to be busy, but it was very, very busy. It was more busy than we could really sustain. The circle itself is doing a much better job than what we had here before. If you look at what we've got going on here with this particular situation, the traffic is stretching all the way back here, and then this situation tends to get a little bit dicey from time to time as well. Right now it's not bad. There's a lot of traffic going in both directions, which can tend to sometimes make it look busier than it is, but realistically speaking, it's okay. It's doing alright. This is the one that looks terrifying from time to time, and I think I might sit down and kind of figure out. I suspect that most of this traffic is going in here and then turning and going down underground and then coming up here and going that way. And you can see this is a very busy sort of intersection that we've got going on, and I can't even call it an intersection, the exits, and then kind of coming up around here. As soon as this stops, all of this stops, and then all of these stop, and then all of these stop, and then these guys stop, and everybody just stops because this guy is stuck right here. We can fix it. It's not going to be that big of a deal. I can think of a couple things I can do. I can extend this so that it's mostly highway. We'll lose a few buildings in the process, but it doesn't matter. Get the highway moving this way and merging instead of stopping at an intersection to get onto the 6-lane road, and then having the vehicles going this way on the right side of the road kind of go off this way and come around and meet up with the traffic circle that way. That would probably alleviate a lot of the congestion right there, and as soon as a lot of that congestion is alleviated, then all of this will become less of an issue. It's just a matter of it's above ground and below ground and making sure everything is lined up the way we want and actually going where we expect it to. It's a little bit tricky with this traffic circle just because there's so many different moving parts. Other than that, the city's doing pretty well. for 56,000 people were profitable. I actually went and services. I'm a chump for services. Remember, we had all of these basically turned off previously because we were in financial difficulty. Now we've got free smoke detectors, we've got recycling, we've got better parks and recreation, recreational use. It's not my thing, but I understand. You know, some people are appreciative of a slightly more liberal view on that particular issue. So, you know, we're supportive of them as long as they're not blowing it in my face when I walk by on the sidewalk, because that's just rude. Just pointing that out. One more person does that to me and the whole thing is just gone. Go back to prison, you bastards. So we're not making $30,000 a week anymore, but we are making forward progress. Population is increasing. Everything seems to be good. No one is really complaining about a lack of anything right now. I just put in a new sewage treatment plant and another water pump. We've got so much power coming from the nuclear power plant. And realistically speaking, what we need to be doing, and we're going to try and do this for the next episode. Oh, just as I was saying, everything seemed to be okay. A building burns down. Not my problem. That's the fire department and the city engineers. You guys deal with it. We've got a couple of areas that I want to develop next that are basically identical. We've got this area in here that is going to follow around this half circle and then it kind of comes straight like that. And then the exact same thing right here, where it's literally the exact same scenario where I want to kind of do something like that. So I'm thinking it's probably going to take 4 to 6 custom assets in order to make it work the way that I wanted it to. And again, with the goal of having things use as much available land space as we can without driving ourselves nuts, being too much of a perfectionist and demanding the unreasonable. But because they're so similar, it just makes a lot of sense to me that we would do the custom assets route again. And ultimately, I want to get this sort of central area of the city resolved, and we can't do that until this area is zoned and mostly developed. That way we can see what the sort of traffic demands are. We'll do something about this intersection here and this intersection. See, now that it's actually moving, or it was for a brief period of time, it was moving freely. Of course, it's also the middle of the night, and now the sun's coming up. As I say, it's the middle of the night, the sun comes up. The game exists to make a liar out of me, I swear. But you can see we're getting some traffic movement from here, but what I would like to see is not having that stoppage there, not having this little snarl up here, and not having this sort of congestion here, leading to traffic all the way back to here. So these are the little problems that we can work on as we're kind of alongside doing the custom assets. In the next episode, we'll take a look at the result of both. If you want to be notified when I add those episodes, you can always follow me on social media. Links for that in the information box below the video, or subscribe to my channel. That's the easy way to do it. Please leave your comments and feedback. Thanks for watching, guys, and take care.